Welcome to Pluto Radio News.
Welcome, listeners. Rupert Murdoch's evidence to the English Congress in England has been sent to Pluto for examination. We've received this copy, this hour, this minute, this nano. Interviewer Orazio Badonkle Orazio asks questions in a very Pluto way. Report coming up.
Mr. Murdoch, would you like to say something?
The News of the World is less than 1% of our company. I employ 53,000 people around the world who are proud and great and ethical and distinguished people, professionals.
Mr. Murdoch, I am a child of Pluto. In 1983, your newspaper, the Sunday Times, published diaries that purported to have been written by Adolf Hitler. They weren't. They were fake. Your newspaper, the Sunday Times, published these telling readers it was a world exclusive. Before all this, there used to be an editor of the Sunday Times whose name was Harold Evans. He was the greatest editor of the 20th century. You fired him. Do you think it is ethical journalism to fire someone like Harold Evans, and after that, to print fake diaries?
I'd never heard of him.
Mr. Murdoch, in 1988, your newspaper, The Sun, and your newspaper, The Sunday Times, described a woman, Carmen Proeta, in a false way. She was and is a fine and noble woman. The claims of your newspapers were made wrongly and were found to have been utterly false. Do you describe this as ethical journalism?
I don't know.
Mr. Murdoch, also in 1988, one of your newspapers, The Sun, described Chris Mullen, a decent and honourable member of the British Parliament and an able journalist, as insane. The Sun said this because he was attempting to establish the innocence of 6 people who were wrongly jailed for the Birmingham bombings. It was later found that Mr. Mullen was correct, and the courts accepted that their convictions were unsafe and unsound. Do you describe the manner in which the Sun portrayed Mr. Mullen as ethical journalism?
I don't know.
Mr. Murdoch, the Sun newspaper, which you own, alleged that Liverpool fans urinated on the bodies of victims and stole money from the dead. This was later found to be utterly false. The Sun was forced to print an apology. Do you describe what the Sun did as ethical journalism?
I don't know.
Mr. Murdoch, your company Fox News in the United States carried an interview with the former U.S. President Bill Clinton, in which he robustly defended his defense of the United States. The searching questions, which he welcomed, were not put to Republicans. Do you describe this one-sided bias as ethical journalism?
I don't know.
Mr. Murdoch, you said your father, Sir Keith Murdoch, was hated in Britain for exposing the gross incompetence of British military leaders at Gallipoli. Do you accept that the fault of Gallipoli, in which thousands died, lay at the foot of the British government?
Yes.
Yet when your newspaper, The News of the World, is implicated in a phone hacking scandal, you say that you run a big organization and you can't look after everything. You said you were betrayed and you washed your hands of all responsibility. Do you think this squares with your answer on Gallipoli?
Yes.
Mr. Murdoch, tomorrow your newspaper, The Times, will publish a cartoon of 3 emaciated Somali children with empty bowls. One will have a text bubble saying, "I've had a belly full of phone hacking." Given that your newspapers have shown little or no interest in campaigning to help feed the world's poor, do you think it is acceptable for one of your newspapers to print this cartoon, which invokes the image of starving Somalis, in order to protest at the attention the phone hacking scandal is focusing on you? Do you think this is ethical journalism?
Yes.